I, Doris, swear that I shall be a friend to my fellow Dorises, even at a social distance.
I,
Doris.
I, Doris, shall wear a mask on the bus and give up my seat to a Doris who needs it more than I do.
Doris.
I, Doris, shall use my voice to amplify the voices of my fellow Dorises.
I,
Doris.
And I, Doris, shall never vote Conservative or Republican.
I, Doris.
I, Doris.
Love that.
Just some Doris. You can just ignore us. Don't need to know my name. Girls are all the same. Fags are all the same. Chicks are all the same. Doris is our name.
Hello there, lovely Dorises.
Hello, Doris and Doris.
Hi, Doris.
That was a very musical hello. You can't help yourselves. You're just
We're very musical people.
musical.
No, I'm a drummer, remember?
Does that not count? Okay.
Not, not according to the time-worn gag. No, apparently not. But,
Oh,
no.
Poor old drummers.
drummers count. Quite
Thank
literally.
you.
Quite literally.
I've heard you.
Oh,
Tremendous
terrible.
first bad joke of the evening. Well done.
Excellent.
Anyway, how are we all, Dorises, today?
Filled with fiery, venomous rage. How about you?
Yeah. Similar.
Same.
I think it's the day for it, isn't it? Or the week for it.
Yeah, so I don't know when the listeners are going to be listening, but we're recording this right at the, I guess, the moment where just last night, was it, that the police decided to drag off several women who were just trying to have a vigil around Sarah Everard, who was dragged off by a copper. Yeah, so... And this week they're putting through the policing bill. I think that's happening tonight. I'm getting right into it straight away because I'm filled with like annoyance.
Let's get it out straight out the gate.
Let me get it out of my system. But they're basically trying to make it illegal to have a protest. You can get 10 years for causing an annoyance.
I do that every day.
Well, they could put you away for it, Doris. That's all I'm saying.
There could be a lot of problems with this, I think.
Yeah. So how are you all coping with this kind of current news cycle? Because I think a lot of people are feeling a bit sad and or angry.
I was surprised how hard it hit me. Partly because of the location, and she was leaving the road that I grew up in. It really felt that, but yeah, the Clapham Common thing really hit me hard. Just the audacity of the police that around the whole thing has just left you kind of feeling, well, who is there to protect us? Anyway, let's try and cheer ourselves with some female solidarity.
I agree. That's the best way to cheer yourself.
I just heard some female solidarity at the door there. I just heard the doorbell go. Ooh.
Hi.
Hey!
How are
it's
you?
Piney Gir.
Hi.
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, just, bored of lockdown. I mean, I don't know, maybe you've already been talking about that, but it's felt like a long haul, hasn't it?
It's felt like forever now.
It has. It's almost got to the point that I've forgotten what it was like not to be in lockdown now. The new normal has become quite routine now, it feels.
I don't know, do you feel like you're going inwards?
Yeah.
I'm kind of going inwards with it all.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's it's quite easy to just not really engage. Like there's only so many Zoom parties you can go to, right?
Or even just inwards creatively, like in your imagination, because that's limitless, where these four walls are limiting.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that there's been a recurring theme really on our podcast, which we've been doing since the beginning of lockdown, really, haven't we? As an excuse to just kind of
Hang out.
keep looking at each other's faces, which is always really nice to do, and keep talking to other musicians, which we really miss kind of doing at gigs, kind of hanging out with other musicians and gossiping in the green room and that sort of stuff. So this is kind of why we do this. But yeah, one of the things people just keep saying is that they're either really, really creative and really kind of making the most of lockdown and having all these fantastic ideas, or the complete opposite. just nothing's happening.
I mean, at first, for me, there was nothing. It was just like, well, I had Corona at the very beginning. So that was 5 weeks of nothing. And then it wasn't very inspiring, to be like Corona-fied. So it took a while to get my mojo, but I'm writing and being creative now. So I guess I'm lucky, but I think everyone's creativity ebbs and flows. It's just like a rhythm. It's a beast. You don't know what it's doing.
Well, you've been extremely creative recently, haven't you? You've released a book and music and all sorts of things. Tell us more. Tell us what you've been doing.
My most recent venture, I released a book and audiobook combo, and it actually has been in the pipeline for quite a while, but it took me a long time to find a publisher. But luckily I found one. So I released it on World Book Day, which was March 4th. And it's available on my Bandcamp, which is Piney Gir, PineyGir. But it has, luckily I got some really amazing people involved in it. So the story, it's a beautiful book with illustrations. And it's about how I got my name Piney, because everyone always asks me that. And then I had some friends read the different characters and voices, like a Radio 4 style drama or something. So I got Mark Radcliffe to narrate it. And I don't know if you know Louis Philippe, but he's sort of a French songwriter, and he did one of the voices. A scholar and a physician who I also wrote the music with, they did 2 voices. And Ali Shaw from Cranes, who has a sweet little helium voice, so she was great. And then Simon Bookish, he did this exceptionally tall creature, it's called. And it's kind of a little bit like Piney goes above the clouds and meets all these weird people and comes back to Earth again. So it's kind of a nice bit of escapism.
Oh, it sounds lovely.
It's very cute. I actually did a tour of libraries in 2019 with the story, with puppets and songs, and that was really great. But the book wasn't ready yet, so I was hoping to do some live events to promote it, but maybe that will come in the future. Maybe I'll do some online storytelling. I haven't figured that out yet, but it's just nice that it's out in the world now. So yeah.
Before you came, I'm afraid I was venting a lot of rage, and it's you've just brought a nice kind of piney, cloudy loveliness to the proceedings. So thank you. The rage is abating.
I mean, there's a lot of things to be angry about right now. It's been a weird week for everyone, but I guess you can't always look for the silver lining. Sometimes you got to embrace the beast, But right now I'm just happy talking to you girls. So
awesome.
Oh, likewise. Tell us more about yourself, Piney. Tell us kind of the history of Piney Gir. How did you get into music?
I took piano lessons from when I was 4. And I had a really weird upbringing because I went to like a really strict Christian school, and my dad was super, super religious. So I wasn't really exposed to secular culture. So everything I knew was either Christian music or it was, classical music. And then there was a little bit of Beach Boys I was allowed because they were deemed wholesome enough. I mean, I later found out they were quite psychedelic, but I didn't know that at the time. But I think they are so responsible for my love of harmony. I think that I love their harmonies, and because that was one of the few bands I was really allowed to listen to, I would say they're quite an influence. And then I went on to study drums, and I went to uni to get a degree in classical percussion, and all my drums got stolen, and I didn't have any insurance. So I changed my major to voice, because you can't steal the voice. And yeah, that was kind of, not many people do that, change their major from drums to voice. But I'm glad I did, because I really loved singing, and it gave me techniques to have stamina for singing on tour. You know, I don't lose my voice all the time, because I learned how to sing with my gut and all that kind of stuff. Ooh. So I feel very grateful for that experience. But funny, because I studied opera, and that's not at all what I sound like, you know. But I came to London.
Can you still do the opera stuff?
I'm a little rusty, but I could probably kind of get away with it. I did sing the Star Trek theme song with Dream Themes using my opera voice. So if you want to hear it, it's out there. Yeah, or if I'm vacuuming, I'll sing opera, because I think no one can really hear me. But yeah, it's kind of fun. But then I moved to London, and I went to St. Martin's for a semester, just to kind of be weird and meet some weirdos, and worked in a bar and kind of found my way into music. I didn't ever come here intending to stay, but I've been here about 20 years now. So yeah.
Well, I'd say you're pretty permanent now then at this point.
Feels like it, yeah.
What do you think that you'd be doing if you'd followed the path of continuing with percussion?
Percussion, I mean, I probably would be in like a pit orchestra in Albuquerque or something, you know? I don't know, probably something a bit random like that.
And what are your top tips then for like keeping your voice in check when you're on tour and when you're singing a lot?
I mean, really singing from the gut is a big one, because I think a lot of people strain here, and that's where you do the damage, you know. So if I find myself doing that, because you feel it, especially if it's really loud, you will stretch. But if you just think about, I don't know, that there's like a tennis ball in your stomach and you're trying to squeeze it, that's helps me not lose my voice. So. Everybody's different.
I just automatically sat up as I tried to imagine this tennis ball in my stomach there.
It does, doesn't it? It makes you sit up straight, and it makes you tense your tummy when you sing. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to think about that next time.
Yeah.
So Piney, for people who aren't familiar with like your more recent work, you know, post classical drumming, etc., what else have you been up to?
Well, I released my 7th album just at the end of 2019, and I had, of course, loads of touring lined up for 2020 and all that kind of jazz, which, of course, got canceled, and that's disappointing. But I think, you know, the album's still out there, so check it out. It's called You Are Here, and it's just inspired by the weird times we're in, and that was before Corona. So, you know, we had Trump and Brexit and the Me Too movement, and all that stuff was kicking off, and I felt sad about it, and I wanted to kind of tap into that connective thing that we're all sharing going through this, and that maybe our togetherness is like a positive thing we gain from that. So it's all about togetherness and finding the silver linings, which is so important sometimes to get us through. It's like there are mental health themes all over that album, and I'm glad that people are more open to talking about that kind of stuff, you know. But the album is kind of celebrating that togetherness. It gets us through stuff. So, yeah.
Awesome.
So a lovely
Yeah,
positive way of
definitely.
looking
I'm
at
so
things.
glad you're here to uplift us.
Oh, that's
What's
nice.
the best song on the album? Which one?
The best song.
Yeah.
Don't ask that question.
You know what I picked? I picked the song Even Song, which is the last song on the album. And I picked it because it's very dreamy and it makes me feel like I'm on holiday. And that's something I really miss is traveling. And it talks about being on a blue lagoon and there's this floaty kind of backing vocal that sounds like mermaids. And I thought, maybe that's a good one for everybody locked in right now.
Let's get lost now. Oh, how
I just heard the doorbell. I think there's someone else at the door.
Ding dong.
Shall we see who's at the door?
Yes.
It's our Kes. It's
Hello.
Hannah Kessler. Hello.
Hi. Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. I had my vaccine on Saturday, so I'm still a little bit hazy, but I'm good.
A bit woozy. Kes, this is Piney Gir. Piney Gir, this is Kes, the
Hiya.
artist known as Hannah Rose Kessler. Sorry, I should have introduced ourselves as well. We're all called Doris.
Hi.
Hi, Doris.
Hi, Doris.
And Doris's cat Luna is making a bit of an appearance this evening as well.
Aw.
Yes, she
We should
is.
just. Oh yeah, okay. I wasn't sure which way round she was.
She's standing guard.
She is, yeah, that's what she does.
Now, you two have something in common. You have a label in common, I believe. You both recently signed to Reckless Yes, which, I mean, this is fast turning into the Reckless Yes podcast, basically, isn't it?
It is.
All guests that we have on seem to be linked to.
It just
wonderful
means it's an
Reckless Yes.
excellent label with very good
Yeah.
taste, basically.
I was going to say they've got the best artists on.
They have.
I'm super excited about that because I haven't worked with them before. Have you?
No, I'm actually sort of mid-releasing my first thing with them. The full EP is going to be out on Friday, so I don't know when this is going to be uploaded, so it's probably going to be already out by then.
Cool.
So do you want to
will
tell
bet.
us a bit about the release that's just coming out then?
Yeah, sure. It's an EP. I've released 2 singles from it already. It's a 6-tracker, and it's called My Theories on the Apocalypse. And it's sort of a collection of songs that I wrote after graduating uni and found myself in a bit of a slump, because after the sort of, pizzazz and kind of almost mania of being at university, like adult life is suddenly just really flat, I guess. And I sort of felt like I couldn't sort of achieve anything and I was getting really frustrated. So it's quite a sort of existential piece of work. But it sort of covers topics from nihilism to sexism and sort of everything in between. And
all the isms.
all the isms. And then the genres are quite broad as well. It's got some industrial and some sort of folk pop, and then more like almost EDM. It's hard to explain.
Sometimes I feel like a doll in a see-through plastic box, to be felt up and be chewed up by the children and the dogs. Expectations for my hair, expectations for my lips. You put your tunes inside my mouth and your rhythm in my hips, and it's death by thousand cuts. I said it's death by thousand tiny little cuts. You don't understand why I say I've had enough. Because it's death by thousand little cuts. Killing me. I was raised to be afraid, to obsess about the worst. Victim porn and validation, to quench our violent thirst.
It happened last Wednesday, and the victims blaming the woman herself.
At this time, there's nothing demonstrating that this is a hate crime. If
María José Alvarado and her sister Sofia were murdered by
She's been selling sex
Take it
to
as a
tourists.
compliment. When you tell me what you do when you're younger, there's no way of knowing whether you'll just call me a cow or if I'll become another number.
It's death by thousand cuts. I said it's death by thousand tiny little cuts. You don't understand why I say I've had enough. Because it's death by thousand little cuts. You're killing me.
Oh, that was so awesome. That
Thank you.
seems so poignant this week as well, that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
I just heard the doorbell. Shall we see who's at the door?
Yes.
It's a wolf at the door. It's Allison Wolfe.
Hi.
Hello, can you hear us?
Hi. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, it's all on.
We can,
Okay,
yeah. Yay.
Cool.
You're joining us from LA?
Yeah.
Are you in
and it's sunny even.
No way.
Hi.
So Alison, we have here. I'm Cassie Doris. We have some other Dorises. We have Kate Doris and Lucy Doris. We have. I don't know why I'm pointing because they'll be in different places on your screen. But there, I have Piney Gir. And right down there's Kes, Hannah Rose Kessler.
Hi.
So and Allison Wolfe.
Hi.
Lovely to
Thanks
have you
for joining
here.
us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So what's going
How's
on?
California holding up?
Yeah, it's all right. It's I mean, you know, every day is kind of the same, but at least it's a sunny day. So aw. Hi.
My children have just come say good night. Say good night to the Dorises.
Good night.
Hi, wow.
Good night,
And they actually go to bed when they're supposed to? I'm amazed.
I really like going to bed. You like going to bed, don't you? You like it? No. So he's even branded his.
I was going to say,
I'm impressed he's wearing the Doris t-shirt. That's good branding work there, Doris.
My children are always branded.
Yeah. Yeah. So here we go. Yeah, it's all right. How's it going there?
It's just crazy here at the moment. It's we're all full of rage and sorrow and love and solidarity and all of the emotions are contained within the moment.
Yeah, been hearing the news a bit coming out of there. So good luck to everyone.
Yeah,
happy for all those protesting and hanging in there. It's just been a lot of bad news for at least a year, maybe 4, maybe more. But
something's got to change, hasn't it? I was just talking to the other Dorises about you guys before, so your ears must have been burning just before the podcast, and I was kind of saying what amazing histories kind of all of you have, and Allison particularly. I mean, you basically started the Riot Grrrl movement, which was a long time ago now, but it kind of feels still relevant. It kind of feels like there was a spark that ignited something all those years ago, and it kind of feels like now there's little embers kind of still burning. So I mean, do you want to kind of tell us a bit about that? How did that all start? What fired that off?
Well, it really wasn't me. I mean, I think the whole point is that it was like a group of people, right? You know, and it's like strength in numbers. But really, I mean, really, Kathleen kind of sparked a lot of the initial sentiments and action, and was just super bold and brave and did all this stuff when she was alone. Actually, she was alone at first, but she quickly, you know, started a band and was hanging around with Toby and Kathy, and Toby had already been doing a lot of, you know, just feminist writing and stuff like that, and been in bands and stuff in Olympia for a long time, and skateboarding, whatnot. And I grew up in Olympia, Washington, and I had seen Toby around, and I'd, you know, seen a lot of, like, you know, Calvin and Kay and all these people. But I was kind of more of a bystander. And it wasn't till I went away, I moved away to college, and I met Molly Newman in the dorms in Eugene, Oregon. And I kind of brought like a lot of this Olympia stuff, music and stuff with me. And she was also already pretty politicized, coming from Washington, D.C., and her father was really in the kind of political scene there, and like on national level. I think he was like I think he did press for Jimmy Carter. I think that's what her dad did. I mean, so it was pretty cool. So we just kind of put those things together, and where I kind of was way into the DIY stuff, personal is political, and she was kind of more into this like national politics and stuff, and social justice and stuff. And so we just kind of brought that together and influenced each other. Started our band Bratmobile, which was a slow burn, but finally started doing stuff like a year or so later, and did a fanzine, Girl Germs. And I think a lot of it was just a reaction to kind of the really male-dominated grunge scene that was bubbling up in the Northwest, and feeling like, yeah, this is cool. We like to go to see these bands. We like these bands, but especially Sub Pop, the record label and stuff, it was just, I felt like there was something super, super macho. Just, okay, now it's like sexism, but now it has long hair and a flannel. And, we just couldn't really relate to it. And it was like the shows were kind of violent and stuff. And the imagery on a lot of the albums and stuff was super like shock value. Like, oh, we got a naked lady with blood running down her, whatever. It was like, wow. That's new, not, so I think even though we felt like we didn't really have the skills necessarily to like, we didn't even know if we could write songs. And then even in the beginning, like I was like on stage for the first time, are these songs? I don't know. But just feeling like we had something to say, and that even in our own primitive way, like at least it might be more interesting than what a lot of these musicians were making. And we were really encouraged by Bikini Kill, who started just a little bit before us, and played our first show with Bikini Kill. So I think a lot of this kind of networking and hanging out and talking about social justice issues and writing and making fanzines was happening before Riot Grrrl technically started, or officially started, and before it was called Riot Grrrl. So, but I think it's just, at that point, really, we're gaining momentum, and girls kind of ruled Olympia, and kind of always had in a lot of ways. I mean, I know with K Records, people think of Calvin Johnson. Well, actually, Candace Pedersen, co-founded and owned it with him and ran it. And she's often not acknowledged for that. Kill Rock Stars, people think Slim Moon. Okay, well, Tanuvial Sampson co-founded and ran the label with him for a while, and like people forget about her. So a lot of times I think it's not that women weren't doing stuff. It's just they're often not written into the history. And I think that's true with Olympia. Also, we think about the history that was kept from us. I mean, we didn't have the internet and stuff like that when we were starting out. So it wasn't easy to find women, female musicians and stuff who came before you, except for in our hometown. Okay, regionally, yeah. But which is great. But like all the like the Slits and the Raincoats and X-Ray Specs and a lot of stuff like that. Alice Bag. Okay, I knew about X. But so like, a lot of that we had to see through like, I don't know, like sharing records. People like you go to someone's house and they play records for you. Hey, you should check this out and stuff. Or make people making mixtapes and sending them to you. Like Rose Melberg from Tiger Trap. She sent me a mixtape early on before she'd started that band. And before we'd started our band, really, that had all these women musicians on it from the past. And then talking to Alice Bag, I even think like she talks about the early days of punk in LA and how it was very diverse in all these ways. But that's not what's written about. And that's not who's featured. Now you just see Darby Crash and that's about it, right? In the history making. So,
yeah.
Anyways, so Riot Grrrl, I don't know.
So I had this moment just last night of feeling suddenly like super, super old. I don't know if you've seen the Netflix film that's just been up recently called Moxie, but basically, there's the scene where the teenage girl pulls out the musty old suitcase from under her mum's bed and it's got the fanzines in it. And it's like, oh, God.
That's cool. I know I have that like that. That sounds like me. I have the suitcase somewhere, Yeah, I have not seen it yet. They did, like their props person or whatever reached out to me for some ephemera, which I ended up sending some stuff. I had to demand to get paid for it, but Netflix and Amy Poehler can't afford to pay anything, right? So anyways, but yeah, so I got a tiny small amount for that. And yeah, I don't know. I have to decide. I guess I should see it, right? What do you guys think? Is it good?
I found it adorable.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very feel good and very cute. But yeah, I sort of also slightly felt that they were trying to make it as a teen film, but the only people who are going to enjoy it are the old Riot Grrrl mums, basically.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I should watch it. I just kind of noticed, I'm not totally sure, but the music that was licensed, I believe that Bikini Kill was the only actual correct era Riot Grrrl band that was featured in the soundtrack or whatever. I'm annoyed that we weren't included in it, but whatever. I bet it's cute. And I bet, anything that's like inspiring young women, that's cool.
Yeah.
Or older women, right? All of us, inspiring us. But yeah, I don't know. So, it's cool. I think, Riot Grrrl was something that a lot of us were involved in back then. And I guess the spirit can continue, just hopefully with new forms, new words, new people, right? And just hopefully it progresses, right? It's just kind of like a little strain of third wave feminism, the musical strain. I kind of tried to revive that in 2000, like to start Lady Fest. So that was kind of, I thought, how can we harness the energy and the networking and that spirit of Riot Grrrl, but actually have a goal to work towards? Because I think sometimes Riot Grrrl was a little aimless. Like we didn't have set goals, agendas, whatever, and sometimes that just made it fall apart. I don't know. There's a lot of things probably. So I felt like with Lady Fest, that was cool to have a goal to work towards, although I think that was still really difficult to do. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of young people doing really cool stuff now, and they have the internet and social media on their side, so you can reach far more people. Black Lives Matter is totally transformational and amazing and what we've needed for a long time. But it also doesn't, I don't mean to say that people weren't doing all this activism ahead of time. It's just that like you have the internet as a megaphone, you know. So, and social media as a megaphone now. So, but yeah, I think a lot of the concerns of Riot Grrrl are coming up now. You know, it came up with Me Too. I mean, yeah, we've been talking about that stuff in our zines and whatever forever, you know. And I'm sure women were doing it far before us as well. So,
I've been teaching a course at I teach at a music college, and I've been teaching a kind of extra course in building DIY communities, and we've looked at the history of kind of DIY communities. We looked at Riot Grrrl, and we've looked at kind of DC punk and kind of different communities around the world, and talking to today's kind of 18-year-olds about making zines and kind of organising by post boxes and letter writing and mixtapes and things is just such an alien world to them, and they're just like,
yeah,
just start a TikTok campaign, for God's sake, why don't you? It's just...
If I may chime in as someone of that generation,
please do.
I think Riot Grrrl is very much alive and well. I think Cassie, you met me from my band Quim Smashers, which was very inspired by the likes of Allison and Kathleen Hanna. And I think there is definitely like a big movement of sort of people around my age. And yes, we bring the kind of zine look onto the internet. But I think, you know, the heart and soul is there, and I think the anger is there, and I think the drive for change is there, because we've got sort of all sorts of people who just are, you know, itching to make things happen. I've organised little festivals, kind of DIY groups, and I've been part of zine communities and sort of gigs at kind of regular places where everyone would just come along and get absolutely trashed and and just dance and mosh. And I remember a sort of a middle-aged person was passing, and all of us were there, and we all had crazy hair and crazy clothes, and he kind of looked at us and smiled and said, "You folks are what's keeping the world alive," and then like went on.
Aw, that is so cool. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, whenever I kind of, because obviously I'm in the Riot Grrrl mum category now, even though I'm not a mum, but you know, but when you see, like, there's so much energy, you know, like it's not. I guess it's easy to get fixated a bit in, you know, what was going on when I was younger and going down the pub more. But they're still down there doing all sorts of things. So
wow.
The kids are all right, is what I'm saying, basically.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Totally. And I mean, I don't do it. Yeah, I don't do as much as I should. Well, lately, not this past year, but I mean, I still try to go to show, you know, when it was allowed to go to shows and stuff like that, and, you know, DJ and I haven't played, I guess I haven't performed live for a little while, but, you know, just kind of keep yourself out there and keep doing stuff. And I'm always, you know, there's always cool stuff somewhere, you know, like that's, you know, challenging and interesting, creative, cultural activism. So that's exciting.
What is your current band, Alison? I can't keep up with. You've been in so many bands.
I never really stopped, right?
Cliquey Bitches, is that the most recent project?
Kind of. So that's the most recent release, I guess, that I've been involved in. So that Cliquey Bitches was a band formerly called Scorpio Scorpio. So we ended up calling our EP Scorpio Scorpio. But it was me, Alice Bagg, and Seth Bogart from Gravy Train and Hunks and His Punks. And we just did this kind of summertime project band. It was a couple summers ago, and I guess it was 2018, I think. And we ended up recording the 6 songs that we had written. And then I put them up on Bandcamp a while ago, but my friend Andy, who has a record label called Fett Cacao in Vienna, Austria, he ended up releasing the vinyl. Yeah. And he has the digital songs too up on their site. So, yeah, so that was fun. But, you know, like, I think we're all busy doing other things, and it, you know, just didn't kind of work out to keep being a band. But it's also a band of like 3 front people. So, and 2 Scorpios, imagine that. So, but yeah, I kind of miss it. Then I also have kind of started a project band with 2 guys, Joey Karam from The Locust and Le Shock, LA Long Beach guy, and Cody Willis, who's in Big Business, was in the Melvins, and also Murder City Devils drummer. They're both really awesome dudes. You know what? Oh my God, I think we're all Scorpios. All 3 of us. Holy wow. Okay. So now we're going to go for Scorpio. Okay. Anyways, and so we have started something called Magic Witch Cookbox. I named the band, so that's why it's so terrible of a name. But that was based on a Craigslist best of ad where someone was trying to sell a microwave, but they titled it Magic Witch Cookbox. So I thought it was funny.
That is a great name.
So actually, I was in Cody's studio yesterday working on songs. So they've written a bunch of songs. I have made like vocals for 3 of the songs, but I've been moving real slow over the past year or so. So hopefully like I can get some more going and we'll record something soon. We do have one song that's a Cramps cover on the 31G label's Cramps compilation record that they put out. Also, I think during the pandemic early on. Anyways, we do a cover of People Ain't No Good by the Cramps.
Oh, wow.
So, Magic Witch Cookbox, our one release. So I don't know. That's what I've been doing lately, a little bit lately. But it's been hard to be motivated during shutdowns, during the pandemic. It's just, things have been so dire, and, you know, the news has just been so bad. And especially with Trump, oh my God, you know, it's just one horror after the other. And it was just hard to really be creative when you just don't see an end to anything, or you don't see a light at the end of the tunnel or something. So, but now I actually have an appointment for my first shot of the vaccine. And yeah, and all of a sudden I just felt like doing stuff. That's what's funny. It's like all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'll go in the studio and work on some songs, Okay, maybe I'll pay some bills. Maybe I'll clean up a little bit around here, So
we were talking to Piney a little bit before we started that you've been quite creative lately, right? You were saying so people seem to go one way or the other. It's
yeah, I mean, I was completely
creativity or just block it.
Yeah, I was completely blocked and didn't do anything for the first 6 months, and then it was like boom, there's like a floodgate that has to open, right? Yeah.
Wow. Good for you.
How about you, Hannah? Have you felt like you've had output or whatever during that?
Well, it's hard for me to say because I suffer from being intensely self-critical, so I always think I'm not doing anything when I am. But I always think writing songs is a bit like doing poos, because sometimes you get constipated, and when that happens you sort of have to do lots of little not so good poos, and then the really big gut cleansing one will come out. So I think my work around sort of writer's block is sort of just doing really bad ones for a bit and then accepting that the good one will come eventually.
You just need to eat more fiber, is that it?
Definitely an analogy that I've not heard before.
Where does fiber fit in the analogy?
What is fiber for the soul?
It means an experience with substance. Right. Which we were missing. So.
Fiber for the soul is when you walk out of the house at the end of January and you finally see the snowdrops for the first time.
Oh, that's romantic.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do I do here in LA?
You've got the sun. The sun is inspiring, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm not a desert person.
Oh, I love the desert.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Isn't there that hill of all those little purple flowers in LA?
Oh, maybe. You tell me where it is. I'll go there. Probably, yeah. I know there's a whole wildflower scene probably coming up soon. So,
are you a beach person?
In them.
I like the beach, but I don't like swimming in the ocean. So I like swimming in lakes. I like water that I can kind of like see what's going on, and stuff.
You're not going to go out just into the sea that way.
Yeah, I'm always afraid of dying when I get into the ocean. But so yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like it. I moved here for a reason. I mean, I grew up in Olympia, Washington, where it rains all the time. So I thought, well, I'd be happy living somewhere where I never had to see rain again. Yeah, that'd be great. So I've had enough
in LA.
Nearby, like south of here, yeah, there have been some sightings, and not a lot, I guess, but usually like surfers or something. But also some of the like kind of beaches where people gather, like I guess tourist beaches, they allow people to fish off the pier, which is crazy to me. And then they're throwing, big hunks of chum and stuff into the water to get something big, and sharks have come by and then bit someone who was swimming by, So yeah, I can't believe they allow it. It's like it's ridiculous. So. I mean, maybe at night, okay, but then it makes the sharks remember, here's where I can go get some lunch, So
I have this sort of mean joke that I play on seagulls. If you go to the end of the pier and you have some cotton candy and you throw a bit over the pier, they know it's food and they like swoop around, they get really excited, and then it touches the sea and it evaporates and they get really confused. It's kind of
like the pandas.
It's
raccoons. It was raccoons.
What happened to the raccoons?
They tried to wash it in the puddle and it dissolved.
Oh,
and they were looking, they were like, where did it go? And they looked so devastated.
Oh.
I don't mind seagulls being disappointed, but
it's the most heartbreaking video. It's so excited as well, and then it drops it, and then goes.
Oh, that's amazing.
What I've been doing today, actually, I was going to do a little bit of bigging our own projects up, actually. We've been working on a song which we're going to release kind of as a moment of solidarity and feminist sisterhood, really in response to everything that's been happening in this last week. So we're going to release a song called Reclaim These Streets, which we're going to invite vocalists from all over the world, hopefully, to get involved and kind of add to the kind of sisters chorus. So I will be in touch asking for your vocals. But yeah, I thought I would just mention this, and hopefully, I don't know. I guess it will take a couple of weeks to put it all together. But yeah, hopefully, maybe next podcast I'll be able to play it and tell everyone about how successful it's going to be. But yeah, we're going to release that in aid of Women's Aid.
Cool.
To kind of it kind of feels like you need to do something at the moment to to do something.
Yeah, and apparently you can't sort of count on a Tory government to fund Women's Aid, for example. So let's do a song or 10 and do a bit.
Part of me feels like it shouldn't be down to us, because like lots of us are the victims, and it just seems a bit sick, really. It should be sort of the men and the people who might be responsible for this who should be paying for it, but I guess they're not going to want to, because they're the ones who've put us in the situation.
There's strength in solidarity and sisterhood, though, so I'm going to grab that by the horns and run with it.
Oh, yeah, of course, 100%.
Yeah. We can make our own fun.
Yes. It's quite a healing thing to do as well. It kind of feels like you're doing something positive in the face of a lot of negativity recently.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with that. It's a lot more productive than what I've been doing, which is just sitting there skimming at my smartphone screen, and just.
Well, you've been baking like a baking motherfucker. I don't know what you've been baking like.
Rage baking.
Rage baking, yeah, my sourdough is like risen on the bubbles of female.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Doris is one of those really annoying people who just posts on social media all these delicious things that come out of her kitchen that none of us are ever going to get to taste.
What?
Every day more
you would if you went round for dinner.
Yeah.
Any day now. Any day now, we'll have you round for dinner. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like my cooking got better at first in the beginning of the pandemic, but it's just kind of bad again. So whatever. But I don't know. I kind of feel with what Katz was saying, how I think I'm kind of hard on myself, and I'm always like, oh, you're not doing anything. You're never doing enough. It's never enough kind of thing. So, I mean, I guess I did do, actually, I think I got at least was it 1 or 2 podcast episodes done and released within the pandemic time. And I think I wrote 1 article, freelance story, 1 or 2, maybe, probably 1. And I think I even maybe did a radio piece that ended up, or at least finished it during the pandemic. So I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah,
good going.
So
well done. Good job.
Yeah.
Piney, you have a radio show as well, don't you? You're no stranger to the airwaves. Is it The Other Woman show?
That's right. So the Other Woman show, it's a collective of women, the other women, and a different host does every week. So I do the fourth Thursday of every month. And I think you've been a guest, haven't you, Cassie, on one of the other ladies' shows? Is that right? Yeah. So it's nice to get your community involved and celebrate music by women and talk about what it's like out there. And yeah, I think it's nice to be part of the collective. Yeah.
So it's you and Cherie Percy, is that?
Yeah, I mean, we've just taken on 4 more women.
Oh, wow.
So we've doubled our airtime. So rather than each of us doing a longer show, we just extended the invite. So now there's 8 of us. So yeah, it's good. It's you never know what you're going to get because we each have such different identities. You know, there's a comedian, there's an author, there's, you know, a musician. So it's like everyone has their different thing they bring to the party, so it's kind of fun.
Excellent. So that's Soho Radio, isn't it? Can you get that on the internet if you're not in the Soho postcode?
Yeah, Soho Radio. So there's the Culture Channel is the one we're on. Then there's Soho Radio, the music channel, and there's now a Soho Radio New York, and they TX Other Women on New York and Culture. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Do you know there's a website that you can use to listen to every single radio station that's connected to the internet in the entire world?
Oh, wow.
What's it called?
I can't remember. I think it's called like Radio Garden or something.
Oh yeah, you know, I think I just downloaded it. Hold on, that app. Yeah,
it's
Radio
so
Garden.
Cool. I decided to listen to the most northernmost radio station I could find. And it was so weird. They were playing like weird 1950s sort of hold music.
Oh, that sounds great.
Now I'm opening the app. I'm like, I downloaded it, but I didn't do anything with it
honestly,
yet.
It's hours of fun. You can,
okay.
Like, what are they listening to in Beijing?
Oh, great!
Oh, it's like cool. In the olden days when the technology was super new, I actually purchased an internet radio. It was a box that has got a dial, and you could dial up all the international radio station. I still have it. I should sort of send it to the Museum of Obsolete. Sort of intermediate technology, but endless joy in radio stations from all over the world.
I follow the same sort of routine when I'm doing things like this, though. I listen to the thing furthest away from me, then I listen to the thing closest to me, and then I go to the most isolated place I can find. I always do this on like Google Maps as well.
You're in quite an isolated place yourself, though, aren't you, Kez? You're still out in the sticks in Cumbria.
Yes,
What's it like out there?
I live in a place called Ravenstone, which sounds like it's straight from Game of Thrones. It's been slowly getting nicer. We had sort of constant, because we're right on the sea, so really, really bad storms and wind sort of all through January and February. And then there was also like 6 weeks of constant ice, which made driving quite fun because my road is a bridleway, not a road, so it's all like uneven as well. So that was difficult. And then the boiler broke, which was also quite difficult. But it's all good now. But it's kind of like living here is basically like constant problem solving. Because one day the water breaks and then the hot water goes and then you fix it and then suddenly something else goes and then you're like, I can't take any more of this. But then it's all fine because suddenly you look outside and the sun's out and everything's beautiful and the sheep are on the hill and it's like, oh gosh, I'm in heaven.
Nice.
I've been fantasizing about escaping to the countryside, because somehow being in London when there's nothing that you can do of all the things that you would like to do in London, that is just rubbish. So, flight to a sheep-covered hillock by the ocean sounds like pure heaven.
I know, it really doesn't feel like we're getting our money's worth at the moment with the squillion pounds a minute that we pay to live in London.
You really
we're
are
all
not.
just indoors on Zoom. Bad internet connections.
My entire property costs less than a terraced house in London.
Oh, don't tell us this. We're going to have to come and live next door.
You really will. You'll have to. In fact, I think one of the neighbouring properties is actually on the market, so you could come and move in.
Wow, nice.
It's tempting.
I'm just Googling a town now. Right, okay.
But yeah, there's going to be a festival here in August, so you should definitely look into coming and performing, because they're sort of trying to big up non-cis male bands. It's called 42 Degrees Festival. So I can send you the link if you're interested.
Sounds cool.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think this year, I mean, as soon as we're able to play gigs, I don't know about anyone else, but I just want to play all the gigs, just every day. I just want to be on a stage, making some noise.
So is anyone actually being bold booking gigs yet? Or is everyone waiting to see what happens?
I'm waiting because I had to cancel like 2 tours and a trip to America, and it's just too expensive to make those plans and have to change them. And
I have no plans really. I mean, I see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm trying to do some stuff, but I don't know. I want to get my podcast going again. Like I'm in the band, like just getting it really going again. Which I've taken a while.
Podcasts are the way forward.
Yeah. Well, it's funny now, like everyone's doing a podcast, but actually when we started, I didn't know anyone else doing a podcast. I mean, I knew, bigger people, mainstream people or whatever, but I didn't have any friends who were doing podcasts, hardly at all. So
maybe I should start a podcast.
Might as well. Everyone's doing it.
I'll be on your podcast, you be on my podcast.
Anyone who's anyone has got a podcast.
Cassie, will you be on my podcast?
We just kind of, do the circuit. Absolutely, yeah, I'm there.
I just think it's so much work. Like I
just go on each other's podcasts and talk about each other's podcasts until we all just
turn into a podcast.
True.
It just goes round and round and round.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm starting work on another one with this woman, Melissa Locker from Nevermind FM. It's like a podcast startup that she did. And we're going to co-produce a podcast on kind of a history of Olympia music scene, and focusing on the International Pop Underground Convention that was the summer of 1991 there. So, yeah, that's kind of exciting.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's in the baby beginning right now, but yeah, so that's cool. But so I need to be writing more.
Yeah, you guys doing all the rewriting and researching for that?
I think so. I don't see anyone else involved right now, at least. So, yeah, I mean, although I think probably, I guess I want to see what kind of funding we can get or what have, because I think it would help to have some, like I have a couple people in mind who it would be great if we could have some research help and stuff like that. So we'll see. But yeah, but so far no one's been paid. We haven't paid ourselves or anything. So anyways, but yeah, I think it'll be a big undertaking. And also I'm just kind of slowly wanting to work on this oral history of Riot Grrrl book. This kind of Please Kill Me style, kind of chopped up mashed together collage style thing. And I've written some grants to try to get money for some of these things, and just so far no luck. But my problem is if I get rejected, sometimes I don't try again, which is sort of stupid. So I guess I should just not be such a baby and try again. But
yeah, because you would kind of think we should be getting to the point, right, where some of us have got money now and should be funding the rest of us to do good things. Keep trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today I had a meeting with the people who are funding my zine, and I told them I needed more money. And they were like, you realize you're the most well-funded project that we've got? And I was like, oh. And they were like, there is no more money. And I was like, but I need more money. And they were like, yeah, there is no more money. Look, this is part of life. You have to reject people from the zine. You can't include everybody. There's no more money. And I was like, okay.
Wow. I've never heard of a funded zine.
I know.
Cool.
That's awesome.
It's like an initiative in the Lake District, because it's one of the Arts Council's priority areas for culture development, and it's sort of it's like an online kind of zine showcase thing, where it's sort of aimed at young people living in Cumbria, because there's like no arts opportunities here, and they get commissioned and paid to create a piece of work for it, and it's also about kind of building community and sharing experiences. So it's quite nice to do that, and also have money, even though I am greedy and wanted more.
But I also want to be working on the history of Riot Grrrl book, and I want to get my podcast I'm in the Band going again. I'm sitting on 4 or 5 interviews. I'm with Viv Albertine, Tess Pollitt, Mecca Normal, Victoria from Downtown Boys, and so I'm just oh my gosh, I need to do these things because they're so great. Those people.
And this is working towards a book.
Well, no, those interviews were for I'm in the Band podcast that I need to revive. I did 2 special episodes with Smithsonian on some women DJ collectives in Washington, D.C. that came out during the pandemic. But those are kind of one-off, well, two-off special, and they're on Smithsonian Folklife's website. But as far as just like my own podcast, I want to get that going again. I just didn't feel motivated for a while. And I don't know. But I do want to work on this, keep working on this Riot Grrrl oral history book kind of thing, Please Kill Me style. And then this new podcast that's about Olympia and the International Pop Underground Festival with this other woman from Nevermind FM. Melissa Locker is her name. Yeah, I don't know. That was something I wanted to say. But I also wanted to say that, so Toby Vale from Bikini Kill has been trying to get the word out that, as we know, that like Maria Aliokina, how do you say it? Maria Aliokina from Masha from Pussy Riot is in jail again in Russia. And because of, I think, protesting, for Navalny being jailed. And she's been, I think, reaching out and trying to get some support. So I just wanted to put that out there that, we're not sure what to do or how to do it. But anyway, she's in touch with Bikini Kill and trying to get the word out there. So I don't know if we can just kind of read up and try to figure out a way to amplify her voice or get some focus on her case. It's like, I can't believe they threw her back in jail. Like, come on. Yeah. But of course, I mean, they made a big difference. They're dangerous, right? To the powers that be. Things are bad here, but then, sometimes you're just like, wow, like all Putin had to do was jail his opposition, like, or poison him or whatever. Like, whoa, okay. Yeah. And it's acceptable somehow. Like, although I don't think there's one legal thing Trump did in the whole 4 years. So that was somehow like, he didn't get thrown in jail for that. I don't know how, but.
I can't believe he was found not guilty in that second impeachment.
Crazy.
It's the fucking Republicans. It's just like, the problem is that even Republicans who, a lot of them hate him. Like they just personally and stuff like that, but they just, as long as he's achieving their agenda, they're not going to say too much. Or they're also afraid of their own constituents. And so many have turned to Trump. And the minute anyone speaks out against Trump, they get tons of death threats. Like they just get tons of internet trolls and death threats. So I think they're actually scared of losing their jobs, which they highly likely would.
If they corrupt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know. I think if they had the impeachment vote be secret ballot, he would have been impeached. I'm sure of it.
Wait, it wasn't secret?
Mm-mm. No.
That's like fascism 101.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, you can vote how you like, but just so you know, your vote's going to be visible to everybody.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous, but that's the deal. So I think that, yeah, I think he would have been impeached if it had been secret ballot. But yeah, it's terrible. I mean, I don't know. What can you say? It's like, well, now that he's not in office, there are probably a million lawsuits against him, and hopefully at least one of them sticks. But that whole damn family and all of his cronies should all be thrown in jail,
Do things feel more positive over there now he's gone? Is there a general kind of sigh of relief?
Yeah, I think so. But I just feel like so much damage was done in his administration, and especially like when the pandemic hit, and I'm like, oh my God, this couldn't have hit at a worse time because look who's in office, and it shows, 500,000 plus people have died. I think if he hadn't been in office, like I would say that number would have been cut at least in half if we had real leadership and like not someone who mocked mask wearing and stuff like that. And said you should put, drink bleach or whatever the hell. So yeah, no, I mean, just severe negligence and actually just outright, lack of compassion and empathy and just, severe, I don't know, narcissism and everything. And yeah, it's
and
terrifying.
Insanity.
Yeah, it's unbelievable every step of the way. And it was so damaging. I think just everyone, we just feel really damaged, or at least that's how I feel. I just feel everything is so damaged. I just don't know how it can be repaired. But it does, it's nice to hear at least someone who, sounds like, sane and whatever, and compassionate and has a plan and, is acknowledging a lot of the problems, like hearing Biden's fireside chat recently. Like, it sounds cheesy because I definitely wasn't for Biden. I was way more for Bernie and stuff. I'm way more left than that. But I actually started crying when I heard that because it just made me realize how horrible Trump was and how devastating his policies and lack of policies were and are. But yeah, we're still feeling the effects. And I think a lot more people are still going to die before everyone's vaccinated. And the economy and people getting one or two little stimulus bits here and there. And the unemployment scene has been a mess. It's just terrible. Everyone's fucking broke. And meanwhile, Trump doesn't even pay taxes. And I guess Jeff Bezos doesn't either, It's unbelievable. There's enough wealth to take care of everyone, to give us all, to support everyone. If that 1% could easily support the rest here, easily. But they aren't doing it,
I read a thing once that said you could bring everyone in the world out of poverty by sort of taking billionaires' money, and you wouldn't actually reduce the number of billionaires in the world, because they would still be billionaires even after feeding everybody and giving everybody a roof over their heads.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Meanwhile, there's all these lobbyists trying to make sure they keep their money and stuff. It's why? They don't need that money. They don't need all that money. We do. So yeah, it's been depressing. I feel like people are kind of, a little bit relieved, but I just don't think that this administration is it's not liberal enough to, and it's not just administration, the Congress and the Senate especially, it's not liberal enough or lefty enough to make real change. So, but I think obviously some things are going to get better, it couldn't get worse, that's for sure. So, but I just think there's so much work to do to undo the damage. And I don't really know. I don't think you can undo. You can't bring 500,000 people back from the dead, can you? No. So, yeah. Sorry, depressing, but I'm not going to be happy until AOC is in there.
Depressing or reflective of reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, let's go anyway. Let's
energy and rage, and we'll get creativity.
Burn it all down.
It's also in times of hardship that creativity really blossoms, and I think maybe we'll see sort of the underground scene coming back even more strongly with all this, with people being so upset and so angry, and there being so little funding for arts. I think this is maybe a time where we're going to see another sort of punk rock movement rise. So hopefully there's some silver linings.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Let's do it. Yeah. Here for it.